guys just to weather that storm in the fourth quarter at Dallas?
Consistency. I think we've been through a lot as a team. We work. I think Mark does a great job of preparing us for those situations. I mean, first of all, we don't want to be in a situation where we give up a lead like that. But at the end of the day, we trust each other, and I think that's also what makes Shai so special, that he trusts us as a team. I mean, I think a lot of other superstars might force it or try to do it themselves, but I think Shai does a great job of finding that mix of trusting us, and then we know he can always make a big shot if we need it.
5 offensive rebounds for you tonight. It seemed like you were just really going at it. Your mindset just trying to attack the glass now.
I mean, that's kind of always my mindset. I mean, I think the last couple games, kind of just like all of us, we're trying to find our footing again, trying to get back in rhythm, and yeah. So for me, it was just trying to get back on the old board, and I think I did a better job on that tonight.
You were around Chet obviously last season, around in the summer, seeing him start this year. Just where have you seen the biggest strides that he's made, especially to start this season?
His confidence, but then also just playing through contact. I think that's what he's been a lot better in. I mean, I've been with him all summer, seeing the work he put in with Drew Hanlon, and you're kind of just seeing it right now. You're seeing his confidence. You're seeing what he's been doing for our team, and he's also just healthy too. And I think that's those two big keys: his confidence and him being healthy. He's one of the best bigs in the league, and yeah.
Now he was held to just 2 points, but what were your initial impressions of Cooper Flagg?
Who? Oh, Cooper Flagg. Yeah, I mean, great talent. I think physically, he's a great player. I mean, he's put in a role where he has to play point guard, so I think that's always going to take time to adjust. I think being put in a position that you probably haven't really played that much is always hard for a player. I mean, we saw it last year, me and Chet trying to figure that out, playing with each other. So I think great talent, and they have a great coach, so I think he'll be good.
The third quarter, it just seemed like drive after drive after drive. I think you were 13 of 16 in the paint as a team in that third quarter. What was leading to all of that?
Just executing our game plan. I think that's when we're our best. It's just playing our brand of basketball. I think we kind of shied away from that a little bit in the fourth. I think we were a little bit too passive, and we played with the game a little bit too much. And again, if we want to be a team that we want to be, we have to consistently play at our level.
Mark gave you a lot of credit for finding a really nice blend between being like a vertical spacer, but also being a facilitator and a playmaker out on the court. What's kind of gone into making sure that you're able to kind of find that balance out there offensively?
I mean, that's been kind of, I'm not saying difficulty so far, but just kind of mixing those in. I think last year I was a little bit, not too much of doing it, but I always kind of was looking to flash, get the ball, pass, do those type of things. And so for me right now, it's kind of, that's why I kind of been up and down, just find the mix between flashing, mix between passing, mix between being involved. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you do for the season to prepare for the playoffs, is just kind of get better in those things, find out what you can help the team with, and that's kind of what I've been working on, finding the mix between those two.
I'll kind of blend this question in with tonight's win and your off-season camps with the youth. We saw you guys keep your composure during the fourth quarter, but what does it actually take? We always hear that phrase, but what does that take?
I think for us, it's knowing as a group what we're going to do as a team. And so I think Mark, a lot of our preseason work is going through those situations. I think Mark does a great job. I mean, he'll put up a minute on the clock, and it will be kind of in those similar situations where we have to go through certain plays and figure out as a team what we're going to do. And so now when the game comes, we're prepared. And I think Mark does an amazing job of not wasting time in our practices, really working on what we'll need in the game. So, yeah.
What player?
Mark talks about not overcoaching you guys all the time.
Yeah.
It seems like it really plays out tonight in the late game situation when they were coming back and you guys just figured it out.
Yeah.
What's that like as a player, not having not being micromanaged.
Yeah, I mean, it helps a lot. I think you're not always looking over your shoulder. I think Mark, again, like you said, he does a great job of, in the preseason, in our practice days, preparing us for those situations. And then when the game comes, we're playing more freely. And so, again, he is, I mean, I think that's one of his biggest strengths as a coach is this knowing the mixture of when to talk, when to kind of let us be a little bit free, but also when he knows when there has to be strict. So I think that's one of his biggest strengths.
Of course, AD had a big game, but let's talk about the other players that you had to contain to make sure that you guys secured the victory.
I think in general we did a good job all game except for the fourth. I think that was really the only time where I thought we didn't do a great job. I think 80's buckets were kind of, except for a couple, what we wanted him to do. I mean, 80 is a great player, so. But in general, I thought we were good all game except for the fourth.
What sticks out about AJ's confidence outside of like practice and like the day-to-day? What is it about his personality that just screams confidence?
I think he is just very mature. I think that's what I saw from day one. I think that's the luxury you get when you draft a guy who's a little older. He has confidence. He doesn't shy away from the game. He approaches the game the right way, and I think that's why you see how comfortable he is right now, because he approaches the game the right way. He knows how to play it, and he's confident.
And in this jacket, a lot of hits on it on Instagram.
Yeah.
People want to know where you got it from. You want to plug it or I don't know?
I mean, I'm tall, so I have someone. If I'll like send him kind of the stuff I want, and he just goes out and finds them. Because I'm probably out of 10 stores, I'll find probably one store will have my size, so I don't really have time to go and look for all of them. But shout out Dan Solomon.
We got one more here. Tomorrow will be your 5th game in 8 days. How beneficial will be that home court to kind of give you guys a lift?
I mean, it's always beneficial. I think we have one of the best fans in the league. I think especially we saw it in the playoffs how much of a lift they gave us. And, they've been great for us all last season, all this season. I mean, they were even amazing for us in the preseason. I don't think you see that a lot. So we love OKC. We love the fans out there. And,
Thank you, Art.
Appreciate you guys have been through as a team. What are those moments like late? The trust out there, what does that feel like? Knowing the battles that you feel?
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, we have different lineups out there than we have in the past. Obviously, AJ playing big minutes, Dub out right now, a lot of guys out, guys stepping up. Our rookies have looked great so far in their minutes. And then, late game, we have a pretty good idea of what we're trying to get to. We've been there a lot, especially this year already. We've been in a lot of late game situations. So we feel pretty good with what we're trying to get to. Coach does a good job of putting us in spots quickly. And then, we kind of know what to do and when to do it from wherever we are.
You and Hart seem to have such a special, relationship connection. What's it like for you to see him get the 2 biggest buckets of the game?
Man, he was huge. He was a monster on the glass tonight. That was huge for us. He's a big reason why we were able to close that game out. And he's just, he's a beast down there. He's a big target, great hands. And tonight, when he put it up, it looked like it was going in every time. So, we need to keep finding him because he's real efficient in those situations, and he's able to get his shot off in those situations. So we need to keep looking for him, keep finding him, keep feeding him. And then, he's going to do his thing and get his own on the glass. So, big credit to him tonight.
You mentioned the rookies being good in their minutes so far, but what are some of the intangibles you want them to kind of notice when they're not in the game?
You said when they're not in the game?
Yeah, what are some of the intangibles you want them to kind of pick up on when they're not getting the minutes?
There's nothing I want to see them do. They're doing everything that they need to do already. They've been amazing so far. I haven't been around too long, but I've been around long enough to see how an NBA season goes and understand that you're going to get an opportunity. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And, just telling them to stay ready for that. And they do a great job of that, paying attention, understanding what they need to do when they get out there on the floor, and then going out and executing it at a high level. And they've done that so far. They're going to continue to do that. As the season evolves, as their dealio, whatever it is, evolves, and I got complete faith and trust in whoever coach puts out there, and they're here for a reason. They're great players, so I look forward to seeing them continue to evolve and grow as players.
Mark talks about not overcoaching you guys, and it seems like it's really playing out on the court in late games. What's that like for you guys out there, not being micromanaged?
Yeah. Man, it's amazing. You'd think having a lack of practice time and extra time as a team to practice those situations would really, really hurt us. With obviously 2 overtime games early, missing a lot of guys, down some bodies. We're not really pounding our legs. Running through a million reps of these things, but we've been in these situations so many times with last season and the playoffs and late game situations that, again, we know where we need to be, what we need to do, and when to do it. And coach does a great job throughout the game of orchestrating that, and then it's kind of on us just to read and react. So it's been great for us so far. We got to continue to try and be better in those areas too, but we've done a good job.
Seems like you're making a more concerted effort trying to punish smaller guys, get shots in that low post area. Is that something that you want to come into the season more?
Yeah, 100%. Just try to add more efficient and effective ways to find looks for myself, but also looks for us as a team. I think that's something that's good for us if I'm able to get good looks against smaller guys, especially closer to the rim. I worked hard on it this summer, worked hard on my body. So, I'm very confident in those situations, and, I just got to keep trying to seek them out, look for them, and then, when I do find those opportunities, I have to execute in them, to make it a good play for us.
I'm sure as a shooter, once you see a shot go down, it adds to your confidence. But as a shot blocker as well, you got some early ones. How much did that kind of help build momentum for you defensively?
Man, the first couple games, I didn't have any. Didn't feel like myself. I was like, I felt like I wasn't a shot blocker anymore. So, I'm glad I got a couple tonight. But, I got to keep being aggressive, keep not chasing them to the point where you leave something else open, but I got to keep, hunting opportunities to protect the rim. I feel like there's opportunities that, I'm just a half second or a step late to, and, in the league, that's the difference between blocking a shot and giving up 2 points. So, I got to keep trying to be better and be just a touch faster in some of those situations.
Speaking of staying ready, AJ has embodied that statement this year. Stayed ready after not playing much last year. He's come in hot. What sticks out about his mindset?
Yeah, he's a talented player. He has been for a long time now. And, like I said, it's a matter of when and not if. He had an injury last year, tough injury. I know exactly how that goes. Not easy to come back from, especially in the middle of a season. And, I'm sure he was chomping at the bit last year to get back out there and start playing. And he's got his opportunity early in the season this year, and he's made more than the most of it. And he's deserving of all the success that he's seeing right now. And, I know he's going to keep working harder to try and, push that even farther. And, we're here to support him. We need him out there making big plays like he is. And, I got all the faith in the world that he's going to continue to keep doing that.
Thank you, Chet.
And then, go ahead, yeah.
Thank you. Highlight of the night award. If you were to give it to a player, who would you give it to, and what would the highlight be?
I'm going to humbly say myself. We're going to leave on that one. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great...
Didn't want the game to get that close the way that it did, but what'd you make of just the way that the team composed itself when it needed to and got the scores and stops down the stretch.
Yeah, we never want to take a win for granted. I think we've obviously set a high bar for ourselves with the success of the team the last couple of years, but we never take a win for granted. It's hard to win a game, especially on the road against a quality team, and we earned the win tonight. So I thought we did a good job extending the lead in the third, putting ourselves in that kind of position. And I thought the situations down the stretch were very, very well executed. Obviously, a lot we can look at from the fourth and at different parts of the game. But like I said, we're never going to take a win for granted.
Hart catches the ball in the middle of the floor there, and the offense had a little bit of a hard time scoring before then. What do you think about just the way he attacked, put it on the deck, and just one more weapon kind of off the bounce that you can have there late?
Yeah, we went obviously dry offensively, and he offensive rebounded really well in the fourth. He had some big plays there, and then that play there where they doubled Shea. Shea got it out of there. We spaced the floor properly, and he was able to go downhill. So that all on top of guarding Davis with 5 fouls, where I thought he did a really good job most of the night as well. So he was outstanding tonight. Those plays were huge for us in getting the win, and we needed them all.
Most points in the paint tonight for you guys so far this season. Talk about all last season. Talk about wanting to get down there, make sure you're getting there. Tonight it seemed more of a conscious effort to get there. What did you feel like was working for you guys getting to the paint? And it seemed, no disrespect, but it seemed like somewhat easier than previous nights because of the more concerted effort.
Yeah, I thought that was a positive. There was a lot of good from the game. When it ends like that, when you have the fourth quarter, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But we did a lot of good things. 68 in the paint against that team with Davis's rim protection in particular is hard to do. And so I thought we earned those the right way. A lot of player movement, really, really sharp in our actions on the plays where we were able to get in there. I thought a lot of the threes were paint generated. We didn't shoot the ball well tonight. That was part of the fourth quarter as well. We got some decent ones that didn't fall, but that's part of the deal. But yeah, we did a lot of positive things tonight, especially in the third quarter.
Chet seemed like he was trying to punish the smaller guys, particularly tonight. Is that something that you guys have talked about? Seemed like there was a time where it seemed like he was demanding the ball.
Yeah, he was good. He was good again. He's obviously a better player than he was where he ended last year. He put a lot of work in over the summer, and that's showing up here early. But he was huge again tonight. He had another really good night.
Coach, AJ, I keep talking about his confidence. I think I've asked you like 3 or 4 times confidence-related questions. But, he went at D-Lo like 4 straight times, got straight to the basket. What does that say about his mindset? What sticks out about his mindset that, just has him do that so seamlessly, it seems like?
Yeah, he's obviously played well. We knew he was a good player, and he's gotten better as developmental guys do. He is pretty fearless. He's been very steady so far. He gives us ball handling like down the stretch there. He gives us another guy that can initiate offense and is a threat there. I thought he did some good things. Even the offensive rebound by Hart was a play that he got downhill on. And then the other thing that continues to impress that I think is getting overlooked by the offensive numbers is how he's defending. He's taken on significant matchups. He guarded Russell for a lot of the night. And Hardy, and those guys are tough covers, and he's somebody that can hold his own on that end, and it gives us a lot of optionality as a result.
You mentioned AJ as a developmental guy. There was a point in the first quarter where you guys had 4 former second-round picks on the floor at the same time. Just how much does that speak to the development across the board, and how important is that to the success that you guys have had?
We develop everybody on the team 1 through 18. We don't really care where they get drafted. Once they're here, they're a Thunder player, and we start the process of letting them declare themselves and put them on a plan where they can grow. And when they declare themselves as playable, we play them. And so the draft status doesn't really matter to us. But we take it seriously 1 through 18. We want everybody to be growing and developing. It's an 82-game season. We're going to need everybody at some point.
When you talk about developing everybody, those young guys like Chris and Brooks, when they're not in the game for the majority of their minutes, what are some of those intangible things you want them to be picking up on?
Well, they're on a great team in terms of sharing and supporting one another. It's a very encouraging environment. I think the locker room environment has a lot to do with the fact that guys go out there and play with the confidence that is being referenced, and so it's you can't speed it up. It takes some time for the game to slow down. But those guys have done a great job because they've taken a great attitude towards it, and they've competed, and they've stayed inside the team, and they've been all eyes and ears. And when you do that, you get better through your experiences, and so we're confident in those guys.
This was Cooper Flagg's first opportunity to see a championship team. What were your initial thoughts of Cooper Flagg tonight? You guys held him to 2 points.
He's obviously a really talented player that's got a very bright future. I think because he's the #1 pick in the draft, it becomes like day trading in terms of his his performance every single night. But he's going to get better month over month and year over year because he's obviously a very talented guy that's got great feel for the game. So he's been very impressive so far.
Just talk about AD's performance and how you guys were able to try to at least contain him throughout the game.
Yeah, he's a force, obviously. Really, really good player on both ends of the floor. I thought, to the question on the paint attacks, we were able to do some good things even with him on the floor to access the rim. And then down on the other end of the floor, he's one of those guys that you try to take away the easiest stuff, but he still can get, whatever he got, 26 points. He's a really good player for a reason. But I thought Hart and Jay Will really competed on him. Jay Will gave us huge minutes in the third, which preserved Hart's energy and fouls, and we didn't drop off. In fact, we extended the lead, so I thought both of those guys did an outstanding job on him tonight.
Don't want to get you fined or anything, but 2 free throws for Shea tonight seemed like you should have had more. Does it sometimes seem like it's a quote-unquote overcorrection on the refs, not giving him those free throws when he's getting contact?
We're at a point in the season, at any point in the season, we're like laser focused on getting better. And to have our eye on the officiating or our eye on the free throw number or anything like that just distracts us from what we can control and getting better as a team. So the refs call the game how they do. They get some plays, they miss some plays. Some nights are different than others. That really doesn't concern us if we're focused on improving, and that's what we're focused on.
SGA had 8 points in the first half and then finished with 23. What were the biggest adjustments you saw?
A lot of times he lets the game come to him, early in the game to activate his teammates, to establish different threats. I thought he did a nice job of that as a screener tonight on some plays. And then he chooses his spots, and sometimes it's make or miss as well. But I thought, he obviously got it going in the third. That really helped us push the lead. But he's like the last guy I worry about in the midst of a game. He plays the next possession so well, and he always keeps himself in it mentally.
Has AJ always had the touch with the right hand, or do you feel like that's developed over the time that he's been here? Because so many of his finishes came on the right side of the floor.
I don't know. I think, the scoring's always kind of been there. If you look at his history as a player, he can really score, but he's got a great feel. He creates advantages, and then he gets the ball ahead of the defense as well. So I'm not sure you can ask him, but the thing that, again, is most pleasing to me is that he's really competitive on defense, and then he plays inside the team. So even though he's had a nice start to the season, he still makes the right plays, and those are things that scale, for a young player like him.
A lot was made of the non-Shea minutes last year through 4 games, even without Doug and a few other guys. It seemed like those minutes have gotten better this year. What have you seen when he's on the bench?
Yeah, we have a really good team with great depth, and we trust a lot of guys, and certainly trust the guys that are on the court for long minutes, and it's a testament to the chemistry that the team's developed, and we try not to separate the minutes with individual guys on and off. We just try to play our way for 48 minutes regardless of who's on the floor, and I thought we did that well in the first half tonight, and have done that well so far this season.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.